Welcome to the Equipped Disciple channel. My name is Rick McClatchy. I will be your host. We are here to be and to make disciples of Jesus, and we do that through daily devos, through Sunday sermons, and through other discipleship resources. We are here to equip you to be an equipped disciple. All right, welcome into another day of your daily devos. I'm Pastor Rick. We're jumping into Proverbs chapter 14. Still not quite halfway through. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs, but we're making great progress. We're just steady and getting on through. So, chapter 14, verses 1 through 12 today, where there are no oxen. One of the key verses we're going to hone in on today. And so let's just jump right in. If you want to like and comment, subscribe, I wouldn't be mad. You know, it's cool. So take the link and share it with a friend or two. Let's jump in. Verse 1, every wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. And I actually think, obviously it's speaking to women here, but I think that it applies equally men and women here. Like every wise person every wise person takes time to build their house, but a foolish one tears it down with their own hands. A lot of times, when you think in the context of marriage and building a house that way, because that feels like the implication when you're talking about a woman building her house, that so often homes, like, your house, your family dwelling, like not like the physical structure, but like the existence of the family, the existence of that family can be built up through wisdom, can be built up through wise actions and thoughtful speech and care and concern and growth and all that kind of stuff. But a foolish person that pays no attention to wisdom, that doesn't think things through, that doesn't watch their tongue. It's like we talked about yesterday, that you eat the fruit of your mouth, that whatever you talk about, whatever you say, whatever you declare, you eat the fruit of that stuff. And so that is like a good part of what is being discussed in this first verse is the foolish one tears it down with their own hands. Like they're not victims as much as, they would probably like to claim, because how we choose to respond to situations can have a super significant impact on how things go, right? So just, again, another huge difference between wisdom and foolishness is what you choose to talk about, how you choose to handle situations, and then the cascading effect of those decisions and when things get better and better and better or get worse and worse and worse. So a wise woman builds her house, but the foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Probably not even always totally realizing it, because when you're driving for your own fulfillment, your own satisfaction, your own happiness, then a lot of times you end up bringing destruction to the thing because you're keeping yourself as the utmost importance in the equation. And I don't know, I think Tim Keller said it something like this, that true happiness is found on the far side of self-sacrificing love practiced over a long period of time. Man, just chew on that one a little bit and see what you think. It's revolutionary in my opinion. Verse 2, whoever lives with integrity fears the Lord, but the one who is devious in his ways despises him. So I think this is a good indicator for us. If you fear the Lord, which we know that fearing the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, one of the ways you express your fear of the Lord is by living with integrity. And if integrity is the fruit of fearing the Lord, then, man, we need to choose to walk in integrity, because we need to be people of wisdom, right? Like we need to be people that when we say yes, we mean yes. When we say no, we mean no. The Hebrew word here for devious, it just means essentially the exact opposite of integrity. It's like you say one thing and you live another way. And I think far too often that's our case. Certainly in the American church, we have, whatever we say, we have a lot of hypocrisy, right? We have a lot of people that say one thing and do another. And so one big amazing solution for the Christian church is just for people to live with integrity, to do what they say they're going to do, to act according to what they say they believe, and not have those big gaps. Because you say you believe in prayer but never pray, well, then I would venture to say perhaps you don't actually believe in prayer. That would just be one example. Like, I'm preaching through prayer the last couple weeks, and so that's what's on my brain. So that's the first example that popped into my mind. Verse 3, the proud speech of a fool brings a rod of discipline, but the lips of the wise protect them. Again, kind of eating the fruit of what you speak. So you speak proud, arrogant kind of talk, man, you're going to bring some discipline upon yourself. But the lips of the wise protect them. The words of the wise actually serve to protect them, to build a safe place. Verse 4, where there are no oxen, the feeding trough is empty, but an abundant harvest comes through the strength of an ox. Man, so this is like, it's business would be so easy if it weren't for all the customers, because customers bring challenges. Or ministry would be so easy if it wasn't for all the people, that there's those funny statements that we feel some truth to, right? I mean, man, if it was just pushing the buttons and making the computer do the thing the computer's supposed to do, pretty easy. But when you got people, they got personalities, they got attitudes, they got sometimes real bad attitudes. Where they got challenges that they're dealing with. It can be pretty challenging. So, but where there are no oxen, the feeding trough is empty. The stall is empty. There's no poop to be scooped, if you will. Like, it's clean and fun and nice. But an abundant harvest comes through the strength of an ox. The work that gets done comes through those oxen. And so if you have no people, which means you have no mess, you have no productivity, no strength, no harvest. You starve to death. And so this proverb is just telling you, like, kind of embrace the mess a little bit. Embrace the mess of life, because the mess just comes with the process. Where there are no oxen, everything is clean, but all the work gets done when you have oxen. The strength of an ox. Verse 5, an honest witness does not deceive, but a dishonest witness utters lies. Pretty clear, right? If you're honest, you're not deceiving, you're not lying. If you're dishonest, it's your native tongue. A mocker seeks wisdom and doesn't find it, but knowledge comes easily to the perceptive. Yeah, so mockers not finding what they need, right? Verse 7, stay away from a foolish person. You will gain no knowledge from his speech. So again, you walk with the wise, you'll be wise. So what do you think happens when you walk with the foolish? So stay away from a foolish person. You gain no knowledge from his speech. And they can actually start affecting you in the negative sense. The sensible person's wisdom is to consider his way, but the stupidity of fools deceives them. The sensible person's wisdom is to consider his way. Look down the road and think about where you're headed and what kind of decisions do you need to make. But the stupidity of fools deceive themselves. Oh, everything is going to be fine. I don't need to make that adjustment. I don't need to make that correction. Fools mock at making reparation, but there is goodwill among the upright. I think that's a pretty cool statement. Just goodwill among the upright to make sacrifices for other people, to express the other person's value, to consider them more highly than yourself. Verse 10, the heart knows its own bitterness. No outsider shares in its joy. And this is kind of a good reminder for us as people are going through grief, or people are going through experiences. We shouldn't go and say, I know exactly how you feel. Because only that heart knows its own bitterness, knows its own sorrow. Or on the other side, only that heart knows its level of joy that it's experiencing. So we don't want to come in all presumptive and assuming that we know exactly what that person is going through, because only that heart knows its own bitterness. So just understand that that heart is going through the specifics of that heart. Now, it doesn't mean you can't relate and you can't share in that moment. It just means you need to kind of let that person kind of guide and direct how they're feeling and then how you want to respond to that. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. And so the word flourish there is to sprout up new life and to grow. The tent of the upright sprouts up and grows new life, whereas the wicked are destroyed. And so again, just the reward of righteousness and good, helpful, healthy living versus the wicked find destruction in their path. And there's a way that seems right to a person, but its end is the way to death. And I think basically this verse just, draws a line all the way back to Proverbs chapter 3. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding, because we've got some brokenness in our own understanding. And so a lot of times the desires of our heart tend to be messed up. And so if you delight yourself in the Lord, he will give you the desires of your heart, because he transforms your heart. He transforms the very fiber of what's going on inside, which then changes the things that you desire. So let's just be careful to be extra discerning that there's a way that seems right to a person, but its end is the way of death, because self-centeredness gets in there, and that just leads to sin, and sin always leads to death, even though we can kind of convince ourselves that I deserve this, I've earned this, or the whole path of self-pity that, gets us sucked into not good things, right? Like anytime you start thinking about how disappointed you are, how bummed you are, how frustrated you are, and you just go down that path, that almost always leads to sin, and sin always leads to death. So there's a way that seems right to a person, but its end is the way of death. So trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and don't lean on your own understanding, but in all of your ways know him and make him known, and he will guide your path. He'll make it straight for you. So with that, a big hearty God bless you. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow.